Hello, happy Tuesday, my first live of 2021, and how are you all doing? It's been an unusual January, and with January normally comes lots of promotion about weight loss and lots of marketing, get summer ready bodies, and I just wanted to offer just chat further about calories and weight loss and offer a more nourishing, supportive way of supporting your health rather than sabotaging your long-term health or your hormones, or just going on that diet roller coaster and never feeling fully satisfied. So while we can estimate the calorie content of a meal, what those calories actually do when they're in our body is a lot more difficult in working out. Foods are a complex mix of chemicals and nutrients, and they're not just made up of calories. There's vitamins, minerals, enzymes, and loads of other micronutrients as well. So take fructose and glucose, both sugars, both have the same amount of calories, but both have completely different impacts on our hormones, our metabolism, and our appetite. Also, our biochemistry is completely different. So our body isn't a calorie bank account. What we eat and expend is not that simple. Well, our body is a complex machine that uses so many different processes to regulate our metabolism, our fat storage, and our energy expenditure. Food goes through kind of many metabolic processes that impacts how, when, what you eat, despite the calories that the food contains. Also, our digestion process expends a lot of energy. The type of food we eat uses different amounts of energy. So take protein, which takes more energy to digest than carbohydrates. Fibre slows everything down and reduces calorie absorption, as well as our gut microbiome has a huge role in breaking down our foods and determining how many calories we end up taking from that food. Absorption, if we lack certain enzymes, then we won't digest our food properly, as well as the cooking and processing of the food can make all the difference. Our body has to work a lot harder to digest foods that haven't been cooked or processed, so raw foods take a lot longer to digest, and therefore more calories for that process, and calories in highly processed foods are much more easier to digest and absorb those calories as well. Satiety, there is no doubt that eating foods that don't fill you up will likely result in you eating more. So despite fat being more calorific, eating more fat and protein makes you feel fuller quicker than eating kind of simple carbohydrates, and that's because they take longer to digest and also have less of an impact on blood sugar levels and kind of keeping things more stable rather than that roller coaster. Then there's taking into account things like our hunger hormones, so ghrelin, which is massively impacted by our sleep. So the less sleep we have, the higher this hormone is going to be within our body, and therefore likely to lead to eating more calories. Our satiety hormone, leptin, is affected by the amount of fat that we're carrying, so counting calories really does start to seem more complicated when you take in all these factors. Again, stress has a really big impact. Our body has that fight and flight response, and that mechanism also adjusts our metabolism as well, and we store fat for when we need it. So that's really super useful in times of famine, but as soon as we start to reduce the calories, the body in effect kind of switches to low power mode to conserve our energy. So you may lose weight initially, which is often what happens a lot of the time, but when you start to increase those calories again, you'll usually find that your body kind of has adapted and slows down that metabolism, and then the weight piles on, and that kind of leads to that yo-yo dieting effect. Again, timing, when we eat affects our metabolism massively, and those hormones that we all know and love really impact our appetite and our ability to lose weight. Cortisol, our stress hormone, not only kicks in to kind of adjust your metabolism, but also is one of your main fat storage hormones to store belly fat for emergency. Also our thyroid, that has a really big impact, and if there are kind of thyroid imbalances, it doesn't matter how low calorie your diet is, if your thyroid hormone isn't working effectively and reducing your metabolism, you're not going to shift any weight either. So bottom line is, counting calories is really not that useful, and we're all so different. So what can we do? There's some few really simple steps to help support your body with losing weight, with supporting hormones, and not sabotaging your health at the same time. Number one, choose quality over quantity. Instead of the number of calories a food has, focus on the quality of that food. So that's choosing nutrient dense whole foods rather than those processed calorie rich foods. Increase protein and healthy fats and reducing those refined carbohydrates. This increases nutrients, keeps us fuller for longer so that we end up eating less, and reducing those insulin spikes so it's not aiding that fat storage. Try and reduce your snacking, as snacking can increase insulin production and therefore fat storage as well. Rebalancing your hormones. Now that's easier said than done and is quite a broad term, but there are really lots of ways of doing it. Looking at your gut, the state of your gut health and your gut microbiome is really important. Things like slowing down to eat, not eating distracted, chewing properly, increasing the diversity and colour of what you're eating, because microbes love all of those diverse foods. Pre and probiotics are really important as well, making sure that you're properly hydrated to make sure everything's moving through properly and really supporting that gut microbiome as well as the whole digestive process. Managing your stress. As I've said before, cortisol completely impacts hormones but also leads to fat storage as well. So managing your stress is really important. Balancing that cortisol by prioritising self-care now more than ever is so important, and encourage your body to relax, get out of survival mode and let go of fat, particularly around the body. Moving smarter. I don't like the term exercise because I think it often has a lot of negative connotations, but moving our body in a way that feels good and that we can do consistently to help balance those hormones and keep everything circulating well, including your thyroid hormone. Ultimately, the key thing is to listen to your body. There is not one size that fits all. There's not one diet that works for everyone. It has to be right for you and your body. What works best for you makes you feel good, and what you enjoy doing consistently, because that's where the magic happens. And I don't know about you, but I for one love that you don't have to calorie count to feel good, and it's more nourishing and self-care approach to longer term health. So if you need any help or support this year, just click on the link in my bio and I'd love to have a chat with you. I look forward to speaking to you all soon.